The economy should be the number one focus, and that's not on the Democrat side. The number one focus on the Democrat side is, aren't those Republicans weird? Aren't they so weird over there? Bro, really? If that is your entirety of your campaign, you're so freaking screwed. Let's see here. Trump takes questions from voters at Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. So back a million years ago, I used to ride motorcycles, and I actually went to Sturgis. So this is a little bit near and dear to my heart here. Michael's here. Hola, my friend. Hola, mi amigo.
You have some people that have some questions for you.
I love that.
Mr. President, how you doing,
Lawrence.
Mr. President? We're live from Sturgis. Say hello to so the people have some questions.
Funny story. So like I say, about a million years ago, I used to ride a Harley, and my dad had a Harley for ages and ages. And when I was in high school, for my graduation present, he bought me a Sportster, a Harley Davidson Sportster. Still to this day, I have no idea. I have no idea why he thought that was a great idea, right? And I look at my children and I'm like, there's no freaking possible way I'd buy them a motorcycle. But you know what? I guess motorcycle families stick together. And these were my crew, right? All these the best way to describe it was old, white, and overweight. That basically was the entire crew everywhere we went. And it doesn't disappoint. It's exactly the people that they show in this video here.
For you, Mr. President. I want to bring in Brett. He was talking about he has his daughter, his grandchildren now living with him, and you're concerned about the economy. What is your question for the former president?
So, Mr. President, I appreciate you giving our time here. One of the big concerns is, what are you going to do about bringing down the rent and things like that in the economy? Because out of 8 children that I'm a father and a stepfather to, 5 of them are struggling, and I'm giving them part of my income on a regular basis. How are you going to make the economy not just the the food and electricity, but bring down the rent prices, the housing prices, so that these kids can survive?
This is a great question. And I think that this is top of mind for everybody, right? Because we're all looking at the last 4 years, and I don't know anybody who would say that they are better off now than they were 4 years ago if everything were the same. Because the prices for everything has gone up so much, right? Brian's here. Brian says he wanted that motorcycle. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Their parents
but going back to this question here, the economy should be the number one focus, right? And that's not on the Democrat side. The number one focus on the Democrat side is, aren't those Republicans weird? Aren't they so weird over there? Bro, really? If that is like your entirety of your campaign, you're so freaking screwed, right? Because you got Trump out here talking, putting boots on the ground, talking to real voters, and like the movement behind Trump is so huge because now everybody can really compare. Granted, we don't have Joe Biden in the race anymore. Nobody's seen Joe Biden. Joe Biden just like disappeared. Apparently he's the leader of the free world, but he can't be found, right? He just disappeared. He gets to take a permanent vacation until January when the next president's sworn in, it seems like. But we've had 4 years of the Biden presidency, nearly 4 years. And then we had 4 years of the Trump presidency. And I don't know anybody, and I haven't seen online anybody who's out there saying, oh yeah, I'm so much fiscally better off. And so I think this is a very pertinent question. So I'm curious to see what Trump has to say from the man himself. Let's see what he has to say.
Good question, Mr. President.
You're right. I hear it very well. And I tell you, first of all, I love the people that you're with. I know that I must have at least 99, perhaps 100% of all of them. And I think they're incredible. We are going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to bring down the cost of energy. Energy is what caused the worst inflation, I think, in the history of our country. Food prices are up 50%.
I don't know if energy caused it. I think reckless government spending, reckless stimulus was always going to cause inflation. Remember the transitory statements, right? Inflation is just transitory. Nah. We all knew that wasn't going to happen, right? And now we are paying the price for it. He is the man behind the curtain. He is Oz.
Sometimes more. You look at bacon. Bacon is quadrupled. You can't order bacon. You can't order anything. We're living horribly. We have the worst inflation we've probably ever had in our country, and it started because of energy. We're going to drill, baby, drill, and then we're going to have China and all of these countries that were treating us good when I was there toward that. I mean, it took me a long time to get them to behave properly. All of these countries are going to, again, stop. Like 4 years ago, I could ask you, you were in great shape. You had low energy costs. You had low food costs. Everything was good. You could buy a house. You had low interest rates, 2%.
Oh, buying a house, that's out of the question, right? And I think that was one of the person who asked the question is this big point, because rent is crazy high. Man, I know people who pay more for a 2-bedroom apartment than I do for a 5-bedroom, 4,000 square foot house here, right? I mean, like, it's crazy how unaffordable housing. In fact, full disclosure, my housekeeper pays more in rent than I do on my mortgage. How does that work? I don't know, but it sure is a huge problem for her, right? Trying to afford rent. And I'm looking at her and she's explaining the situation to me, and I'm like, whoa, that is so crazy, right? That your rent house costs more than this. Unbelievable. Michael says, bacon. Carter had the worst inflation.
Percent interest rates. You had gasoline at $1.87. Now it's $5. And by the way, going up very substantially. But you had gasoline at $1.87 a gallon. Nobody talks about that anymore. Nobody even can believe it's going to happen. It's going to happen again. We've got to get the energy prices down, and everything else is going to be tumbling down with it, the prices, because what Biden has done to the economy is so horrible, and what he's done to inflation in our country is just very destructive.
Okay, so I will say, Trump probably knows a lot more about this than I do. In fact, I'm going to guarantee Trump knows a lot more about this than I do. And he definitely has the smartest people in the world in his ear talking about this. But really, does drill baby drill, does more energy production make that difference? Does that make housing more affordable? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think, because I think you lost the plot on that question.
Mr. President, it's the perfect segue. It's the perfect transition, Mr. President, because I met Linda at the airport yesterday, and when I talked to her and I said, what is the #1 concern? She's concerned about Kamala Harris and her energy policy. What is your question for the former president?
Mr. President, what can we do to achieve a
Brian says no. It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
permanent, long-term energy solution to keep us energy independent?
Such a great question.
He just answered that. That's not like the greatest question in the world.
President. It's a great question. It's such an important question. And look, we're run by people that are not smart people, okay? Not smart people. We have more liquid gold, you've heard me say this a million times, under our feet than any other country. Russia, Saudi Arabia, you can add them all up. We have more than anybody. We were energy independent 4 years ago, and now we're begging Venezuela for oil. Venezuela, they don't even have oil. They have tar. You have to take tar and you have to refine it. It's a terrible process. We have the best, most beautiful, the best, highest quality oil under our feet. Texas and numerous other places. We have the best stuff. We don't use it because Biden does it. He talks about the environment. You know, it's amazing. They talk about the environment, and yet we refine the Venezuelan tar. Okay,
you know, on that point, exactly right. You talk about the environment. You try and make things more sustainable, and yet rather than drilling at home, where it clearly is going to cost less transportation wise, it's going to be significantly less, you know, what am I trying to say? Like the CO2 to move that oil intra-country versus from Venezuela or Qatar or anywhere else, right? He's got a great point there. The backwards thinking of we're still going to make enough oil, but we're going to get somewhere else, right? I mean, really, is that such a green plan? Brian says he's just saying what those people want to hear. I don't know, it kind of feels like that.
Refine it, and it goes up into our air. It's done in Houston, the only plant that can do it. We are going to bring the energy costs down. Everything else is going to be tumbling, and we don't need energy from any other country. We have to fill up the strategic reserves again. It's down. It's the lowest number it's ever been. He's using the strategic reserves, which is meant for military, which is meant for war and very important things. He's using it to try and keep gasoline prices down, and we can't allow that to happen. We have to fill up the strategic. I was filling that up at levels that they've never seen before. We have to fill up the strategic reserves immediately. We can't let people use that to fill a car. We will have the energy prices to a point where they're as low or lower than they were 4 years ago. Yep. But remember, I had you down to $1.87 a gallon, and that was beautiful. They were good times. Thank you.
Mr. President, it was a good time. I drive a big truck, so I remember that. Got one last question for you. A lot of folks here talking about Social Security, and this
I don't know who this guy is, but I just noticed he had a Texas flag patch on his pants, which I really appreciate. I don't know if y'all know this, but we here in Texas, we don't consider ourselves part of the South. We are Texas, right? And so I had this NASA shirt that I found in my closet this morning I had to put on.
Has a question on that point.
Yeah, Mr. President, a lot of seniors, their only income is Social Security. Last year, they had adjustable income of 1.2%. Meanwhile, inflation was probably 7% or higher. How about making it mandatory, whatever inflation is, that would be the income for the Social Security instead of this 1.2% pathetic adjustment?
Okay. So my parents take Social Security. They're both in their late 70s. Praise Jesus, they're still around. I got to tell you that. Um, but he's got a good point there. My dad was talking to me. He's like, "Oh yeah, we got a raise, cost of living adjustment." Do you remember when Biden came out and he's like, "This is the biggest raise to Social Security ever," or whatever, in 40 years or something like that? And then everyone was quick to fact check him and say, "You realize that it's the biggest raise? It's not a win. It's actually a huge L because inflation's out of control. Inflation is so high, so you had to raise it, right? Don't try and skew that into a win. That's a huge L."
Mr. President.
I got it. It's a great question. We can do a lot of things to help the people. People on Social Security are being killed. And one of the things I'm doing is no tax for seniors on Social Security, and I'll get it done.
That it should be. That 100% should be. With 1,000%, it should be no tax on Social Security withdrawals. And I would also say to veterans, right? Whatever veteran disbursement they're going to get. So my dad is also a disabled veteran, and he gets a disabled veteran check, which gets taxed by the government. And then compensation to the military, I don't think that should be taxed either. In my opinion, you have people who should be completely exempt. And I think that Social Security and military benefits 100% should be tax exempt.
Quickly. No tax for seniors on Social Security. And for all your waiters and waitresses and everybody else out there, drivers, we're not going to have any tax on tips. No tax on tips. Remember that. No tax on tips. But we're going to have no tax for seniors on Social Security. And they are ruining, they're going to destroy Social Security because millions of people are coming into our country and they're putting them on Social Security. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on all of our things. They're destroying it. They are destroying Social Security. We're going to make, and remember, I was there for 4 years. I didn't raise the age. They wanted to raise the age. They wanted lots of things. I said, no way. We left Social Security the way it was. Well, now we're doing no tax for seniors. You deserve that. We have plenty of other things. I told you about liquid gold. Yeah. We have more than anybody else. We don't have to do that. We don't have to hurt people on Social Security. So we are going to do no tax for seniors on Social Security, and also no tax on tips for the waiters that are standing right next to you.
So, Mr. President, I'm going to send it back to the couch, but the people here are going to kill me if I don't ask you. They want to know, will President Trump be at the next Sturgis right here to be with the people?
Are you ready? I love Sturgis. I love it. I love it, and I love that state. And that state, we win by so much. The answer is absolutely yes. I will be there. Absolutely yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
That's pretty cool. I went to Sturgis once. I think it was 2004, maybe 2003. And it's a little tiny sleepy town, not too far from the Mount Rushmore, and pretty cool place, right? But like I said, little tiny sleepy town, and then for 1 week a year, completely overrun by motorcyclists. So speaking of motorcyclists, way back when, way back when, let's crank that way back machine. I would say, so I graduated high school in 04. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 07. And I graduated with my MBA in December of 08. Worst time ever to get out of school. But one thing while I was in school was I was part of the student-led investment fund. So for those of you who don't know, I went to school in Arkansas, Henderson State University, very small school. But one thing that they did have was a student-led investment fund, somewhat like Harvard, right? And we would all present our cases for investments and whatnot. And my case was actually Harley Davidson. So I figured, this is a perfect time to talk about Harley Davidson. We got a sell signal not all that long ago on August 6th, right? A sell signal on August 6th. And looking at the performance summary of this, right? The outlier buy and sell signal is actually a positive 25% returns versus buy and hold at -3. So if I were still way back when in my investment class there, I definitely would have been following these buy and sell signals for outlier. And I got to tell you, that was one of the coolest experiences that I ever had in my life, right? Being able to take other people's money and trade with it. I learned a lot. So let's do something else and take a look at trading with our own money in our market analysis. All right. So back to Dave's point earlier. It's an ugly day out there. It's a super ugly day for short. Yesterday I got my hair cut, and the owner of the place there, he came over and he's like, "Hey, yeah, checked out your software, checked out your YouTube channels and whatnot." And he's like, "What do you think the market's going to do?" And I was like, "Well, I've been in cash since July 19th. which, you know, if you've been following along, you were as well on this date here. And he was like, so what do you think the market's going to do? And I'm like, well, I had called for a face ripping rally, which is exactly what we see right here. Continues to be a face ripping rally. Where did I get that from? Right. I'll tell you a couple things. First, I got that from the fact that we had this huge sell-off, like almost no mercy sell-off, right? Let's say from here to here, 7.5%, right into an order block, right into an order block. Once it hit that order block, that's when I said, I think we're about to hit a face ripping rally, right? Because all of everybody who wants to buy stocks and has open orders out there to buy stocks are sitting right here. From 490 up to 510 is a giant amount of orders waiting to get filled. Okay. So that was one of the main reasons. The second one, and give me a moment here to find it, because it was actually something that shouldn't surprise you too much. Hang on. I should have had this pulled up ready. I'm sorry. You're going to appreciate this.
The stock market went down, and we know this because the millions holding stocks are constantly sharing me.
So this was another reason why I knew that we were looking at a bounce, a huge bounce, because one of my friends was calling me saying, hey, what's going on with the market? Seeing out in the social medias, hey, the market is crashing, right? Whenever you see a huge consensus, look for the other direction. Especially when you're getting those texts, when you're getting those phone calls, when your 78-year-old dad calls you up and he's like, did you see what happened to the stock market? Yes, I did. That's what I do all day, every day. You should know that by now, Dad. And that is your short-term bottom, which is precisely exactly what happened here. So I saw this video the other day, and it's really short, so I want to cover it real quick during this. It's only 2 minutes.
Memes referencing it. Memes and finance are inextricably linked, as we have for years seen a distinct reaction to markets via meme culture every time a major event occurs. When Bitcoin became truly mainstream in 2020 during COVID's first appearance, we saw an endless churn of Wojaks printing money and screaming pink whenever the price fell. It's the same with the stock market. Meme stocks helped the everyday person get skin in the game, and so it makes sense that we'd be seeing plenty of memes pop up whenever the market changes. In fact, memes can become a driver of value and wealth, as they can convince people to either buy or sell if enough hype is generated. In this instance, it turns out fears of a US recession have caused a domino effect, as a higher than expected unemployment rate led to anxiety regarding economic downturn. This meant other countries freaked out, selling like crazy, and international markets lost a ton of value in the process. Plus, with inflation and the cost of living crisis worse than ever, many are convinced we are due for a recession, although one hasn't come through at this stage. Especially since the stock markets have been incredibly bullish recently, growing insanely huge in the tech industry as the AI craze encouraged massive investment in companies like Nvidia. It's worth noting that this investment hasn't yielded particularly high profits as of yet, as the predicted event akin to an industrial revolution promised by AI hasn't occurred. At any rate, an official recession hasn't been announced by any standard, so it seems like this small dip has led to a public panic as something of a warning shot rather than a done deal. The imagery of all stocks turning to red instead of green is absolutely a striking piece, which makes it easy to share and further as a meme. After all, humanity has always fostered a deep relationship with money and perceived value. From precious metals to fiat currency, our world has revolved around garnering more and more wealth, so as soon as the numbers start going down, we tend to freak out a little bit. As such, the endless content spewing forth from social media referencing the recent crash has also become entirely profitable for many, including this very channel as you are watching this very video. In short, meme culture and finance have been inextricably linked for years, as any change in the stock market has ramifications for those who not only invest on a small scale, but also the economies of entire countries, meaning large portions of the global population have vested interest in a dip of the US economy. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments.
So anyway, when you see the mainstream freaking out about it, look for the opposite. And that's exactly what happened here. Okay. Now, I still stand by my thesis that we're going to run up to around the 50-day. I think that's where we're going to see humongous resistance. So we're looking at about another 2% up, give or take, another $10 on the SPY to around 540-ish, give or take. And then I think that's when we're going to see a real ugly move down. Granted, I could be 100% wrong, right? Totally 100% wrong. But this is definitely following the playbook that I've been laying out. So we'll see how it plays out. Now, welcome to the Outlier Trading Room. This is smart trading made simple. Save time, make money, start winning with less risk. That's what I like to call profit hacking. And if you don't already have a copy of the playbook, head on over to profithackingplaybook.com to get a free copy, or over inside our VIP Investors Toolkit area in our Discord. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I've been successfully trading since 2009. I am a partner with Outlier, and this is my style of trading using the Outlier data. Now, I call this the golden ticket trading strategy. It's the 8 steps to turn profit hacking into pure gold. And hey, real quick, just double check that you're subscribed. I'd hate for you to miss out because we go live every single day. And the golden ticket trading strategy starts with the market, the SPY. We need to see in the market, what do we have? I'm telling you, every morning I'm waking up and this is the very first thing I'm looking for. Did we get the sell signal yet? And no, we didn't, right? And I tell you, if I had been short yesterday, I'd been really upset today watching the market go up like it is. So the market still has a buy signal. I really, really think that it's waiting till it gets back up around this area to hit the sell. And then that's when the bottom's going to drop out. That's when we're going to get our sell signal. Now, also on that topic, market breadth, right? That's the other part of the master key here is the market breadth. This is really plummeted in a way where I'm almost looking to see like a bounce. It's plummeted so hard. We're down at 32% of stocks are on the bull list. That's what this is measuring here. We had three new stocks on the bear. I am struggling with my words. We had 3 new stocks on the bull list today, 50 new stocks on the bear list. A stock is either on the buy or sell list, right? And bull or bear is buy or sell. And it is getting bigger and bigger and bigger on the bear list. So if the number of stocks is shrinking from the bull list, I think we're going to see this actually reverse here for a little bit, right? I think that might turn bullish here. So I'm not going to be bullish, right? Not until the moving averages cross back. But then again, the part that you've got to understand with trading more than anything is having a plan and being okay with whatever happens. It is 100% a-okay to put on a trade and it not work out. And so many people really take that as if they personally are a loser when you have a losing trade. It is so okay. It is so normal. The best traders in the world have like 50% win rates. It is a-okay to be wrong. And I say that because there's a lot of movement going on right now. A lot of movement up and a lot of movement down and a lot of back and forth. Choppiness is very destructive to a portfolio. You don't have to trade. You can sit on the sidelines. You can observe. You can keep track of everything that's going on without having to put any cash at risk. So wait on the sidelines, wait in cash until the market is in your favor. And that's what I'm going to do. And I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't care how long it's going to be, because making sure that I'm making money is way more important than being active. And the way that I make sure I make money is by following my strategy, right? Letting the market come to me, letting the market tell you which direction it's going. So I won't be trading anything today, but I did see a couple names come through, like GoDaddy. We traded that not all that long ago. Actually had a buy signal today on GoDaddy. G Diddy. Performance summary on this, 123% returns. 123%. And real quick, little teaching moment here inside of Outlier. When you see the green overlays like this, that means the stock is trending upward versus the red overlays, which means it's trending down. White means it's not trending either direction. When you see a green overlay with a buy signal, that's a strong buy. But when you see a sell signal inside of that green overlay, that is not a sell to go short. That is a sell to cash. I learned that lesson very expensively the first half of last year. But anyway, so we had this buy sell signal right here. It went from around 142 to around 145. Small winner right there. But we do have another buy signal that came through on GoDaddy. Now, with that being said, I would only trade this if you have to put on something, because right now the market is really, really sketchy, right? I think this is the best way to describe the market right now. It doesn't really know which way it's going to go, because it's going up big and it's going down big, right? It's going up bigly, it's going down huge, right? We don't really know which direction it's going to go. But I will say one thing, holding cash, especially in a sketchy market, that's the call I'm going to make. Have a fantastic afternoon. Thank you so much for coming. See you right back here tomorrow, and we'll talk soon.